Boom.
Biddly, 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 bo. Yes, yo. Here we go. Ain't nobody down round here. You know what time it is. Get the badger in and on and over here. We had to move back to get his greatness in. The clock watchers are in, so we'll get moving as quickly as possible. I'm about 120 or something off my 5,000 mark, which I want to get to before the start of the season, which I do think is now achievable. I didn't think that up until about 2 weeks ago when I started asking for subscribers, and then like my man Joe's been telling me for about 2 years, if you actually ask people to subscribe, they do subscribe. And it turns out that is very true. So ever since I've started asking, I've had a couple of hundred new subscribers, so which is crazy to me. But thank you very much, each and every which one of you. Truly, it means a lot to me. If we get to 5 Gs, I'll feel like the absolute West Coast warlord. But quick shit vid, that's not why we're ain't nobody down round here. 40 million for the best goalkeeper, not in the league, not in the country, not in Europe, in the world. And his name, as we all know, is Kelleher. And actually, sorry, I take that back already. I've already reduced him to the second best goalkeeper in not the country, not Europe, but the world, because as we all know, and it's undeniable, the best keeper in the world is definitely Trafford. It would seem that Real Madrid also agree that Kelleher is the second best goalkeeper in the world, or they would deem the third best goalkeeper in the world, because it would be Trafford, Courtois, and then Kelleher, because they are apparently interested in Kelleher also. They're talking about £40 million for Kelleher, and that's obviously Liverpool just throwing the weight around a little bit. But obviously, if they won't be madly desperate to get rid of Kelleher. He's their second goalkeeper who has been decent for them. Second best goalkeeper in the world. Courtois is obviously still decent, but apparently they do, better than decent. Courtois, all jokes aside, is better than both of them put together, which nobody will like hearing, certainly not just Joe when it comes to his man Trafford. But £40 million for the second best goalkeeper in the world, that's, somehow we can't get in the Liverpool side and he's still worth 40 million. But apparently, Real Madrid are somewhat interested in him being the airy hair to Courtois in the long term. Apparently, Brighton are interested in Kelleher also, but not to be deterred. If they can't get Kelleher, they are in for the best keeper in the world as well, Trafford. So I cannot wait for Trafford to be shite next year and concede loads of goals against Burnley, and then we can actually fully bring this back round and actually have a laugh about it. Everton apparently are after Solomon as well. It seems to be, there's a relentless theme goes through all of this. I think Kinnear's been fondling and fiddling with both sides, both squads, both teams, both, I spoke about this a few months ago on the channel, just my brother brought it to my attention that, what's Kinnear still doing here? Once you've decided you're off to Everton, mate, fuck off. It's not like you're getting CC'd into emails, is it? And every single player that we are being linked with online always says Everton. Now, it has been the case for a couple of years, but we don't know how long Kinnear's been well, do Leeds need him now? Do Everton want him in 2 years? Should we do that for in 2 years? So everybody that we're linked with always comes back to Everton. Apart from, it would seem, sorry, Badger, the first and second best goalkeepers in the world, which, as we've learned, is Kelleher and Trafford. Unless you're a Real Madrid fan, and then you put Courtois in second there. We're also linked with that Vladimir Coufal, which I do believe is actually how you say it, but if I want to go with how it's spelled, it's Coufal. Premier League right back. He's out of contract at the end of the year. He's 32 years old, and I would be inclined to stick with Bogle as it stands, but certainly as a backup. Apparently can play on both sides. He's obviously part of the West Ham team that won the Conference League. They bought him for 5.2 million or 5.4 million, I think, back in 2020, which isn't bad. I do think he's an excellent right back. He's not been in the side much this season, but they have signed Wan-Bissaka, who I do think is an excellent right back. I don't think he's as good as football as Trafford, say, for instance, but Wan-Bissaka is definitely a good, better than Coufal, and a younger man. I think his one-on-one defensive work is amazing from Wan-Bissaka, but we're not in for Wan-Bissaka because Everton aren't interested in him. There's a few coming up that are all going to move on. Aaron Cresswell, Danny Ings, and the keeper, Fabianski, are all out of contracts at the end of the season. Now, I think we're really going to struggle in the keeper role, particularly when Kelleher and Trafford, the best goalkeepers in the world, are linked to Real Madrid and Brighton, respectively. So I don't know why nobody's making a song and dance about Fabianski, really. I know he's probably ancient at this point, but, if we're going to need two, everybody wants Meslier, Silent S out the door, and if Darlow's not going to be number one, or I don't think he's going to be happy being number two, it's going to be a really difficult thing. As always, Everton are apparently interested in Soufal, as we know, and obviously Moyes did work with him at his time at West Ham when they went on to win. Proper competitive footballers, though. Premier League footballers, Soufal. I want to get some strong motherfuckers in, proper pros, competitive, no more freeloaders in the door, Cooper style. If you don't want to be here, fuck you off. And then one that I am particularly excited at, Sean Longstaff is coming up again. We are expected to be in competition with, yes, you guessed it, Everton. My man Kinnear still fiddling in there. I got loads of stick for this last year about talking about Sean Longstaff. I think players like that would be brilliant. Spoke about McTominay a couple of weeks back about, when we were going up, and he's moved on, gone to Italy and ripping it up. I think at Napoli he's playing really well, and everybody's saying that, a lot of Scum fans are saying that he should have stayed. I don't know if they should have stayed there, but we don't care about that, do we? They're 17th in league. They're absolute whoppers. But he's a Champions League player. He's played a big part in Newcastle's progression. Proper Premier League player. He's not played a lot this season, to be fair. I think he's only played 8 games in Prem, but they do have a good midfield. They've got Bruno Guitarist, or Gimarale, as however you say his name, Bruno Guitarist we'll stick with. Joe Linton, who's an absolute beast. I love Joe Linton. And I'd love a player like Joe Linton in Leeds United side next year. But obviously, I don't mean Joe Linton. He's indispensable, I'd argue, for Newcastle. He's absolute beast in there. But that's kind of what I'm on about with like the big motherfuckers in there that are just like strong Premier League footballs, techno shit. Joe Linton flying in, knows a bit of dark arts, like in cup final when he dragged, I can't remember, maybe Bruno Fernandes he dragged him to ground and stuff just for no reason. We just thought they were breaking forward. That's what we need. We've also got that Tonali. He's in his last year of his contract, because I thought Sean Longstaff would maybe be a little bit unachievable, but he's in his last year, so they do have to make a bit of a decision on him. It's also pure profit for them, because obviously he's come through the ranks, hasn't he, at Newcastle. So at PSR, Newcastle needs some help with, I would imagine, with, because that was basically, that rule was made to try and stunt them, I think, which I think's a little bit lame myself. Apparently they're talking about 12 million, which I think is pretty savvy myself. I do think that there'll be some options for him. Sean Longstaff in general, like whether he wants to go abroad, but he obviously likes it up north, doesn't he? Like out like Newcastle way, so won't be that much of a trip down for him to Ellen Road, would it? But Everton are in for him as well, as they are for everybody. But I honestly, if we're going to be in competition with Everton, I think we win that hands down every time. So what are your thoughts on Sean Longstaff? I'd love that type of a signing. People put Jordan Henderson in thing other day, and I think Sean Longstaff would be a better signing than Jordan Henderson just based on his age. But 27, you get 4 years out of him. He's already built. He's already helped Bean. He's been quite a staple in Newcastle's side to get them to Champions League football, which is where we're headed, boys, with my man Parag stepping in. Get up, what you're saying, everybody. Shout out to each and every which one, honestly. Much appreciated. I'm going to do Underlap tomorrow, I think. I'm off on Joe's tomorrow as well at 9, I believe, providing that doesn't get changed. But if it doesn't, I shall see you over there. Subscribe, like, comment. Take it easy, everybody.
Boom.